All right, we will get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Connor LaChapelle, and I am an account executive here at Paperless Parts. We are here to talk today about attracting RFQs and how to manage them. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen and we are going to get started. Give me a moment. Can everyone see my screen?
We can.
Awesome. So what you are looking at right here is what we would call a smart RFQ form. Given that it is 2022, a lot of buyers are younger now, and they really want the ability to submit RFQs in a frictionless way. So what you're looking at right here is a form that we can embed on your website, either during implementation or once an account is fully configured, that would allow your customers to come in and submit RFQs if they would like directly through your website. So as you can see right here, you can also put a stamp that says ITAR registered. We focus primarily with a lot of aerospace manufacturers, so that ITAR designation is really significant, help to build the confidence that everything they put in here will be encrypted and fully secure. So what a lot of our customers will also do is that they will say all RFQs will be responded to within 24 hours upon upload. The reason for this is that a lot of the job shops, manufacturers out there feel that there's a correlation between RFQ response time and their win rate. So by really focusing and driving that quick response time, they see that they're winning more work as a result of that. So again, all of this is about creating a frictionless way to come in and submit RFQs so that you can begin quoting quickly. So if a customer were to go on your website, fill out their contact information, request a delivery date, select whether this is an ITAR project or not, they have the ability to come in and upload whatever CAD models they would like, whatever prints they would like, as well as any other notes. And then they can also fill out a how did you hear about us to inform any marketing type campaigns that they may be running, and they would click submit. So once they click submit, this would automatically go in and draft a quote inside of their Paperless Parts account, again, streamlining that quote to cash cycle. So you can begin to understand how this is a little more frictionless than perhaps having to go and email an RFQ directly to your customer. Directly to that vendor. So now we are going to hop into how to manage these RFQs. So when I click into my quotes dashboard, this is the way that our customers organize their RFQs. One of the main pain points we find is that a lot of the shops out there, they oftentimes will miss opportunities because they perhaps just lost sight of an RFQ. If they have 2 or 3 different sales folks or 2 or 3 different estimators that are all receiving RFQs in a distro email or a shared email inbox, what can happen is that they will just simply lose sight of it, or they will think that Jim is handling it when really Kim is, and it can lead to just quite a bit of disorganization. On top of that, it can also be difficult just to understand the timing of events. When you received an RFQ, how long has it been? Have you followed up on that RFQ? So what you're looking at here is a slightly automated way to organize. So what you're going to look at is you're going to see all of the tabs I have up here. I have all my quotes. I have those in draft. Those are quotes that I'm currently working on or my team is. I have outstanding quotes, expired quotes, accepted, canceled, lost, and trash. So the drafted quotes, if I come down and take a look at everything I have in draft, I'm going to see that this one is overdue. It's going to be very clearly laid out right here in the overdue section with that due date in red so that I can be very aware that that is overdue because I don't want to miss it. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look at when it is due. It expires on the 30th. That's something I'm going to need to get out, and it's only overdue by about a day. So now what you can also look at is the priority, the account, the contact, salesperson, estimator, line items, price, and when that quote was created. You can also customize this to show whichever columns are relevant for you. Perhaps some are and some aren't. Now we're going to dig in a little bit to each of these. The priority, that is a reflection of how important that quote or RFQ might be to the individual shop that is quoting. If it is one of my top customers, I'm obviously going to want to have that as a priority 10 quote, and I want all the eyes on it as possible so that I can get out the door. If it is a lower priority, you can come over and see 3, you can see 4, you can see 7. It is just simply a way to prioritize your time or response time. All right, parts, you have the ability to set an expiration date. The importance of that is because you don't want to lose sight of that quote once it's sent, and you always want to maintain the hygiene of being able to follow up on that quote and not lose sight of it even post completion. So if you toggle to your outstanding, what you can see is you have the ability to see the same exact information, but you also have the ability to come in and check out, all right, what type of engagement have I got on this quote? If it's a new customer and perhaps one that would be really important to my customer base, this visibility can be important. So if I log in and I see that there have been 5 unique viewers with 30 total views, I'm going to resend that quote with one button. I don't want to lose track of it. I don't want to not call them. So this is going to give me the visibility I need to pick up the phone and either call them or again, resend that quote by clicking that button. Now, let's go back to draft. The way you can also use this dashboard is to get even a little bit more granular with the type of information you're going to want to know about your quote volume. This becomes even more important as that volume grows. You can imagine how difficult it would be. Right now, I'm only have 5 in draft. There are many organizations using paperless parts that have 4 or 5 estimators and may be processing 150, 200, 250 quotes per week, individual RFQs with multiple line items. So in that sense, it's really important to be able to filter, and it's really important to be able to drill down on what is outstanding. So we're coming up on Labor Day weekend, for example. Perhaps I want, before I leave the office, I just want to see that I've accomplished everything that I need to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm simply going to filter by estimator, and I'm going to see that I have one more quote that I'm going to need to get out the door before I leave for the weekend. Now what I can do is I can come over here and I can also select and filter by priority, for example, or I can filter by has operation. So when you build a quote in paperless parts, you have the ability to build in work centers. And maybe for scheduling purposes, I want to get an idea of how many quotes I have outstanding that are going to require a 3-axis milling operation, for example. I can come in and I can apply that filter, click apply, and it can show me everything that is going to include it. So 3 of the 5 drafted quotes are going to include a 3-axis milling operation, which my foreman might be able to see some value in. All right, so we're going to reset these filters. Now we're going to talk about drilling down. Let's say I am the president, CEO, head estimator, and I am a little bit weary about this RFQ. Or quote rather. I'm going to come in, I'm going to take a look at it, and I want to understand why this is overdue and how I can communicate with my customer. I'm going to come in and I'm going to actually click on that quote. And it's going to say quote overdue, tell me when it was originally due. And I'm going to come down a little further and you are going to see this screen share over here. You can see that all the knowledge that has been exchanged so far in the quoting process. So now I can see that there was a note left early this morning that the material supplier can't get us the pricing until next week. So now at least I can be communicative with my customer and I have everything I need at my fingertips and an easy way to find that. So that is a way you would use paperless parts to drill down and stay more organized. Now, let's talk about having that more granular visibility, but at a higher level across all of your RFQs. If I come to my dashboard, what you are going to see, give this a moment to load. you are going to see all the quotes that I am working on across my organization. You can see the quote number, again, the RFQ number, the priority that is set. You can see the status of every quote, as well as the account, when it was created and when it's due. I can also see at a high level who the estimator is, and I can define my own series of steps that are unique to my shop that are required in our standard SOP for quoting. So you can see your material pricing review is one stage that I have. I have an outside services review for going out for quote for anodizing, for plating, what have you. I also have runtime support if it requires perhaps going to the machinist or the programmer to get some insight around programming. So then I can see also I have an executive review. So now I can come in and I can see every single quote, and I can see where that quote is as it relates to getting out the door. So I can see this one's still in progress. I see the estimator, and I see that the material pricing review is complete. The outside processing review is complete. Runtime support is where we are at, and there's not been an executive review here. So now I know if I get a call from my customer asking the status of that RFQ, I know what exactly to be able to tell them. And if I want this to get out the door faster than it is, then I know who to go and follow up with in the appropriate department. You can come down here and you can see that this quote, for example, 1398 is 66% complete. What does that mean? How do I get a little more visibility around that? If I go and click on that individual quote number, it is going to bring you to that quote. So I can see when that quote was received, when that quote was started, and I can see that it has some outstanding work. And now for the 66%, how did we get there? Well, you can see over here on the left side of your screen that there is a green check mark that says completed on one quote item and another, and then this one's still in progress. So 2/3 being that 66%. So if I scroll down a little further, I can drill down. I can come in and take a look. It says completed. And then I can see that every single step was completed. Now, if I go to that still in progress quote item, and I can come down here and I can see it's in progress, but I have the material pricing. The outside services is still in progress. So I know that quote went out. Runtime support, we're still working on that. And then the executive review to approve this final pricing has not begun. So overall, that is how you would use paperless parts to both attract RFQs and how to manage them.